Okay, so what is CVP analysis? Or let's say cost volume profit analysis. So cost volume profit analysis is a method of cost accounting that looks at the impact that varying levels of cost and volume have on operating profit. And cost volume profit analysis is a way to find out how changes in variable and fixed costs affect a firm's profit. So sinabi dito na ang cost volume profit analysis ay isang paraan ng cost accounting na tumitingin sa epekto ng iba't ibang antas ng mga gastos at dami nito sa operating profit. At nasabi din na ito ay isang paraan upang malaman kung paano nakakaapekto ang mga pagbabago sa variable at fixed cost sa kita ng isang kumpanya. And it is stated also here that companies can use CVP to see how many units they need to sell to break even or reach a certain minimum profit margin. CVP analysis makes several assumptions, including that the sales price, fixed, and variable cost per unit are constant. So, sinabi rito na ang kumpanya ay maaaring gumamit ng CVP upang makita kung gaano karaming mga unit ang kailangan nilang ibenta upang mabawi o maabot ang isang partikular na minimum na margin ng kita. So, ang CVP analysis din ay gumagawa sila ng mga ilang assumptions, kabilang na dito ang sales price, fixed at variable costs sa bawat unit ay pare-pareho. So in other words, ang CVP analysis ito ay isang method na ginagamit ng mga kumpanya or isang firm para malaman nila kung paano nakakaapekto ang mga pagbabago sa kanilang profit o sa isang kumpanya.
Understanding cost volume profit analysis or CVP analysis. The cost volume profit analysis, also commonly known as break-even analysis. It looks to determine the break-even point for different sales volume and cost structures, which is very useful for managers who are making short-term business decisions. CVP analysis makes several assumptions, including sales price, fixed, and variable costs, which is per every unit are constant. Running a CVP analysis also involves several equations for price, cost, and other variable, which it plots out on an economic graph.
The CVP formula can also calculate the break-even point. The break-even point is the number of units that need to be sold or the amount of sales revenue that has to be generated in order to cover the cost required to make the product. The CVP break-even sales volume formula is break-even sales volume is equals to CM/FC, where FC is equals to fixed cost, CM is equals to contribution margin is equals to sales negative variable cost. To use the formula to find a company's target sales volume, simply add a target profit amount per unit to be fixed cost component of the formula. This allows you to solve for the target volume based on the assumptions used in the model. CVP analysis also manages product contribution margin. The contribution margin is the difference between total sales and total variable costs. For a business to be profitable, the contribution margin must exceed total fixed cost. The contribution margin may also be calculated per unit. The unit contribution margin is simply the remainder after the unit variable cost is subtracted from the unit sales price. The contribution margin ratio is determined by dividing the contribution margin by total sales.
The contribution margin is used to determine the break-even point of sales by dividing the total fixed cost by the contribution margin ratio. The break-even point of sales in terms of total dollars may be calculated. For example, a company with a look of a fixed cost in a contribution margin of 40% must earn revenue of 250,000 to break even. Profit may be added to the fixed cost to perform CVP analysis on the desired outcome. For example, if the previous company desired a profit of 50,000, the necessary total sales revenue is found by dividing 150,000. This 150,000 is the sum of fixed cost and desired profit by the contribution margin of 40%. This example yields a required sales revenue of 375,000.
Assumption of CVP analysis. The main assumptions that accountants make when using the CVP analysis are that fixed costs will not change within the relevant range of activity. All costs can be classified into fixed and variable. The selling price per unit will stay constant, and fixed costs remain constant. Special considerations. CVP analysis is only reliable if costs are fixed within a specified production level. All units produced are assumed to be sold, and all fixed costs must be stable in CVP analysis. Another assumption is all changes in expenses occur because of changes in activity level. Semi-variable expenses must be split between expenses classifications using the high-low method, scatter plot, or statistical regression.
How is cost volume profit or CPP analysis used? Cost volume profit analysis is used to determine whether there is economic justification for a product to be manufactured. A target profit margin is added to the break-even sales volume, which is the number of the units that need to be sold in order to cover the cost required to make the product and arrive at the target sales volume needed to generate the desired profit. The decision maker should then compare the product sales projection to the target sales volume to see if it is worth manufacturing. The main assumption that contains make when using CPP analysis are the fixed costs will not change within the relevant range of activity. All costs can be classified into fixed and variable. The selling price per unit will stay constant and fixed costs